finally here today with Amita Ashaya, and we're trying to help those who have disabilities in one way or another. Now, this is not just for people who have disabilities, it's also to have fun, because, well, life is meant to be fun. Now, we both have disabilities. Mine is more hidden. Well, so is yours technically.
Pretty much.
And so, do you want to tell them what yours is?
I have MS.
Which is?
Multiple sclerosis.
Okay, and I have ADHD. You're probably wondering how we know each other. We're not sisters, although some might say we look like that. I wouldn't mind. But I have an awesome sister. Anyway, Amita and I met a couple years ago when I was looking for solutions for chilling out a little bit more, and I heard about this thing called Ascension. Yeah, you're imagining somebody floating up or something like that, right? Well, to some extent. So what you're going to get from this, in case you're wondering, is a resource for helping you with your disability and to chill out and to get solutions. I mean, epiphanies. Oh my God, I love that word. But yeah, do you remember the day we met?
Yes, I do. I came to Minnesota and you were learning. And I came for a portion of the course you were taking.
Yeah.
And it was pretty special.
It was incredible. It was like, if I haven't mentioned, she traveled over from Illinois over to here in Minnesota in order to help somebody else learn Ascension. This is not a commercial for Ascension, since I'm not sponsoring or being sponsored or whatever the word is. But I do practice it. It's meditation. It's beyond meditation, actually. And she's also an actress. She's a voiceover artist, a mother, just a great person overall. So back to that session that we met where my husband and I were actually learning how to ascend.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, you have MS? Tell me your story. It's not my story.
Okay, well, when I was turned 40, my midlife crisis, I started running. And I had always been active and ran in track. But at that, I started to run and I got very into being fit. I did triathlons, I ran the Chicago Marathon, and a couple years after that I started to have trouble with my legs. And that's where the MS began, at about 42, 43. And suddenly I could not do what I was tired all the time and my legs were like cement.
Oh, wow.
And there was a lot of pain. Anyway, mid-50s, I was largely bedridden. I'd get up at 4 for breakfast. And I was a very positive person, half full glass, always trying to see the good. And but I realized that MS doesn't necessarily kill you. You have maybe a regular life, but I was just going to not be doing very much. And so I wanted to find a meditation practice that, because I knew science says meditation helps, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't find much of anything. And so our doctor recommended that she said that I should look up the Bright Path and find an Ascension meditation course. Eventually I did. I tried a couple other things first, but they didn't stick. And so I flew to Arizona to learn, because that's where there was a teacher. And I did not learn to get better, right? There's no cure for MS. And so I learned for peace, for scientific reasons, right? Because I was a positive person. So what happened shortly after that, I started to change in ways that the only thing I was doing different was meditating. I started to speak the voice that was inside of me to say. I don't know how many women especially, but I'm sure a lot of people don't say what's in their heart to say. They say what they think people should have them say. And they don't want to, hurt feelings or I was always wanting to do that. That was something that probably so that I would be more lovable or earn love or whatever. But I started to be comfortable saying it without thinking. Without thinking, oh, is this going to offend a person? Or can you really do that for yourself? That just started to happen. And I had I learned at the beginning of February in 2014, and I had an appointment to go to the Mayo Clinic because they were just going to see, well, maybe they can help her. And I was desperate, always looking for a doctor. I was going to find somebody who was going to help me because I wanted to have a better life. I wanted to be less tired and less, multiply problematic. There's they say multiple sclerosis, and the way I look at it is, you have multiple issues. And I took that course, and I ended up going to a retreat that was in April, and I went to that instead of going to the Mayo Clinic.
Ooh.
And there's one thing you don't know. Okay, so and there's some things you don't know either, so maybe I'll say that first.
Sure.
So I was, people with MS, a lot of times we use a cane, we use a wheelchair. Well, I had a walker and a cane, and canes, multiple canes, because I would leave them, and a wheelchair to get through the airport and to get through places where it would be too hot because I could not, my body couldn't sweat. So anyway, and I was also taking a lot of medication to help. The doctors, that we can't do anything but here, take these pills. So I was grateful for them. It helped, morphine, and Xanax, and other pain medicines, and I always felt bad taking them, but I was grateful for them too. It helped me to have to feel normal. And so I continued with this practice, and I went, all the way with it. I did it exactly as the teachers taught me, and I started to get better. Instead of continuing to look for somebody to make me better, I just did this practice of closing my eyes, and also I open-eyed. It's a practice you can do 24/7.
Yeah.
And pray without ceasing. That's what I like to call it. And I started to need to take less pills. And I wasn't advised to do that. I want you to know that. I was advised to take my pills and not suffer. Because why would you want to suffer? But what happened is I was able to start taking them less, and then I started to forget to take them. And was told that I would need these medicines the rest of my life. Yeah, it's absolutely, I'll still take medicine if I need to, and if I need to use a cane, I'll use a cane. But in general, I started to have more energy, and a therapist came that did an unheard of therapy on me that really helped with my fatigue, with the fatigue in my body. And so I had the MRIs that showed lesions in my brain, right? Oh, you have MS. And I also have a very bad neck. It curves the wrong way, and it's loaded with arthritis. And I couldn't do puzzles anymore or anything where I had to hold my head for more than a few minutes. It just was too painful. So when 2020 came, I hadn't seen a neurologist for like 10 years, right? And I thought I might lose my insurance because of COVID and all that. And the MRIs were being paid for then. So I thought, well, I'm going to find a new neurologist that specializes in MS and get in because I stopped going when I started to practice. And they couldn't do anything anyway.
Okay.
And I had another MRI, and I also had a neck x-ray. I had a neck x-ray like a month before I learned this practice, and then I had one 5 years later. And and I thought, well, maybe my MS is gone, magic, right? And maybe I don't have MS anymore because I stopped needing a cane, and I stopped needing the medicine. And I would have bad days sometimes where I needed to rest more, and sometimes I walk a little wonky. But the MRI showed numerous more lesions than previous.
More lesions?
Numerous more lesions, that's what it says on the thing. And the x-ray for my neck is the arthritis, and that has gotten much worse. And so, okay, what? What that shows is when we close our eyes and meditate, this practice is Ascension, we are going inward to, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within. Seek it first, and everything will be added. And that was, I grew up Catholic. And so that was always a scripture that I was like, that's amazing, And
so it created more lesions, or?
No.
Oh, I'm so confused.
We're all gonna, this is a finite system here. It's a wonderful, miraculous system, our bodies, and this earth, and all that is here is so beautiful and amazing, every single one of us. And it's a gift to be alive, but we are not this body. One day this body will stop, but what keeps it going is an infinite being created by an infinite being, that when this body ceases to be, then I won't be in this body anymore. But I'm from an eternal creator. So that's where, when I meditate, I close my eyes, and that's where I go. What I've discovered is it's the food I put into this body. And the food, we think of food as something we eat, but the thoughts that you put in your mind, I'm a terrible person, nobody loves me, and God is punishing me because he would never have inflicted this upon me if I had, if I was a better person. And
so those kind of thoughts,
those kinds of things. Ascension, the techniques which require no belief, the techniques that are mechanical that we use in this practice, begin to erase the thoughts that are, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve love. I stopped thinking those thoughts. They were replaced by upward spiraling, positive thinking. And you are what you think. That's the food I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. So
the techniques.
The good thoughts, or the cleaning out your brain, so to speak.
There are people who in autopsies with Alzheimer's have the gnarly, terrible Alzheimer's, but it didn't demonstrate in their life because they had full lives of happiness and positive thinking. And there are people who have terrible Alzheimer's, and they're suffering so much in their life, and their post, brain dissection, the word's not coming to me, autopsy, shows they have Alzheimer's, a little bit of Alzheimer's.
Okay. So
we are not our brains. We are not our bodies. We are infinite beings. Amita is the infinite goddess.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that that's her Sanskrit name. They're given that when they become teachers. So she teaches Ascension. I suppose that would have been critical detail to tell you.
It's
I
fine.
don't teach it.
It's fine. It's perfect. Yeah, we are not our bodies, and we go around thinking negatively about almost everything in our head is subconscious. You know, oh, why did she say that to me? And what if I should have really just punched her? And we go in the past, we go in the future, and we worry. We think the worst thing's going to happen, and we think about it, and we think about it, and we think about it, and we think about it. And when you're thinking about it, you're not here. And right here is a gift. It's the present. You know, you hear that all the time, but to actually live that, to actually be here and, you know, not worry. So what? So, you know, so what about what the mind thinks?
I mean, I know in my case that I had never tried any kind of meditation, so this was fantastic to begin with for me. I've heard people who have done multiple practices of different types of meditation and got nowhere with it or gave it up. This is why they say it's beyond meditation. Can you say in one final sentence what it did for your MS? Because I know that Bhakti, the head of the Minnesota group, is about to do a graduation for, I think, 3 students who have gone through the course. What would you say it's done for you with your pain and...
The world will tell you what's wrong with you and then charge you for that, you know. Everybody has to make a living. With Ascension, what I discovered is that there's nothing wrong with me. You know? Everybody deserves that, you know?
And that took away some of your physical pain as well?
Oh, yeah. When you're present, you know, you can be thinking about how bad you feel, but then if your favorite movie star or rock star walks in the room, you're going to become present for that moment, and you're not going to be thinking, oh man, this hurts too much for me to go, oh my God, look who's here. You know, being present it's the infinite space. It is so full on.
And it gives you so many epiphanies. That's one of my favorite words. Solutions, awakenings, aha moments. Within minutes or hours or days after I have ascended, I'm going, that's what it is. That's what I was looking for. And that's been a huge relief. I mean, even a squirrely person like me can do it. I'm like, woohoo!
You're a wonderful person.
I appreciate it. You can even do it in your own language if English is not your first language. I do it in Hungarian. I mean, I'm first generation American. But Amita, I figure since people are about to graduate and you're one of the teachers, I better give you back to the group because Bhakti's going to otherwise kick my butt.
Yep.
Send this, please, to somebody. First of all, click on the like button, please, or thumbs up if you enjoyed this. I would appreciate it because that's the only way I know if you enjoyed it. And then maybe send this video to somebody who's saying, I can't relax, or I don't know what to do about XYZ problem. Ascension can also be what gives them clarity to maybe go seek help afterwards. So it's not classic therapy, but it could lead them to a therapist if that's what they need. That's the idea. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Amita. She's an amazing actress. Check her out, Amita Ishaya, and I'll put her real name or her American name in the description. Peace out.